The price grid indicator for MetaTrader is a custom indicator that supports customization of grid lines on an MT5 chart. The traditional charting grid that comes with MT5 is fixed, so the default equidistant grid lines cannot be adjusted. However, this indicator, price grid, allows users to determine the distance between grid lines on their chart. With this in place, you can easily estimate the number of pips a trading asset has made and the distance the trend has traveled in pips. The indicator will be useful for both beginners and professional traders. You can also use it to build a grid chart suitable for scalping, day trading or swing trading. The scalper can quickly measure the pips of the current trade, for example by setting the grid lines to 10 pips. How to trade with the price grid indicator. The screenshot above shows how the price grid indicator would look on your MT5 chart. The indicator is not a tool focused on trading signals, and therefore does not offer any buy/sell settings. However, you can use the indicator to easily identify psychological levels on the chart where significant buy/sell action is taking place. Such psychological levels tend to act as strong support and resistance zones, which in turn provide trading opportunities. In addition, the indicator can be useful in fundamental trading. This will help you quickly determine the value of the pips made by the pair. Draw Grid Indicator is a very cool tool that will help you to draw a grid on your MetaTrader 4 chart. Although grid systems are quite popular, MetaTrader 4 doesn't offer a function to create a grid with set intervals, so you can download one here. Grid systems. As a trader, you have probably read about grid systems. They are popular in the Forex market. Here we won't go too much into details, but a short introduction is due. Grid systems usually involve drawing a grid of horizontal lines representing buy and sell levels. All the levels are placed at the same pip distance from each other, and money management plays a key role in managing the risk. Grid systems are also commonly used together with round numbers, usually multiples of 50 to 100 pips. What is Draw Grid Indicator for MT4? Draw Grid is a simple indicator developed for MetaTrader 4 that allows you to create a grid of horizontal lines on the chart. The grid indicator doesn't trade by itself as it is not an expert advisor. However, it can be useful to perform chart and price analysis. Often, once you draw a grid, you can see how levels of support and resistance are very close to the levels you set. In other cases, you can look for these levels by drawing grids of different distances. Conclusion: the price grid indicator for MT5 is a tool that you may need to apply to your chart, especially if your strategy revolves around grids. Finally, the indicator is free to download. In other cases, you can look for these levels by drawing grids of different distances. If, for example, you draw a grid using a leg, or a step, of 50 to 100 pips, you see how these levels are like magnet with the price, usually representing support and resistance levels. You can play with the pip distance or leg and study the results. Features of Draw Grid MT4 Indicator. Draw Grid is a very simple indicator with only a few parameters. With this indicator you can draw a grid of horizontal lines, set the range, start, and end price, configure the main leg, which is the distance between lines, set the secondary leg, another distance for farther lines, quickly remove the grid, draw a grid of horizontal lines. Draw Grid will automatically draw horizontal lines considering the selected values. Set the range. You can set a starting and finishing price, so that the grid exists only in between these prices. Set the main leg. You can set the distance between the lines of the primary grid. Set the secondary leg. If you want, you can also set the distance between the lines for a secondary grid. Set the range. You can set a starting and finishing price, so that the grid exists only in between.